So this is gonna be our June online class. So you are gonna need just varying colors of pink, some sort of blue and yellow, black and white, maybe some orange. So what I have pulled is just a bunch of craft paint that I had. This is like a use what you have kind of a situation. So something similar. It doesn't have to be exact, doesn't have to be perfect, but you're gonna need something that's gonna be, I would say, a beak color, something that reads flamingo to you, and then some sort of back shade. In this case, we're going to use sea glass. If you have Bahama Blue, you can use Bahama Blue. I may end up pulling Bahama Blue, I don't know. We'll see. And then just black and white. And so that way we have, you know, some varying things going on. And so what we're going to do is kind of like a crazy bottom underpainting. So I'm going to take what I am calling flamingo colors, and actually I did that on the thing, but let's just throw it on here. Okay, and then throw this on here, and you could even put in a little of the orange if you want. Maybe. Basically to show you that it doesn't matter. Like, you just need to get some fun stuff happening. And so I'm just gonna paint that down. And I like that I put that orange in there because, I mean, honestly, most flamingos are kind of a salmon color anyways. So you just want to get a nice even layer. You want to make sure you're covering up all of the canvas with that. And we're not trying to blend it to get one consistent color. I just want to have it covered. So if there's streaks in there, we're not worried about that. And then you can carry that over on the edges if you would like. And I think there's something very freeing and fun when you use the paint directly from the tube and squirt it on the canvas. It's just fun. All right. And then once you have done that, let's look at it. So I think I want like splatters, but I don't know that I really want to splatter paint. I think I'm just gonna put the white above here and just like, let's see what happens. And get kind of little dots. Basically, we're just making a take a class and she calls this the chaos layer. So just a bunch of stuff that's happening. Maybe I have this sitting here. Maybe use a little bit of bubble wrap. And so your dots won't be as perfect. They'll be more varied. So just place that on and pick it up. Place it on and kind of rub. Pick it up. Rub. Rub. Okay. And I think I'll do the same thing with this bright pink. Whoop. This one is way more liquidy. Kind of plops out of there like bird poop. That's fun. All right. And we're just gonna keep going with that. So that this whole thing don't have bubble wrap, you could use just a paper towel and that would help spread it around. It's not going to be quite as dotty or textured, but you could definitely do that. It would just be a different kind of texture, especially if you have a textured paper towel. Okay, so once your painting is dry, I want you can use a pencil if you would feel more comfortable, or you can just go for it like I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna take a Sharpie and we're gonna very loosely sketch out some flamingo bodies. What I don't want you to do is overthink it, because we're just gonna kind of make these funny little birds. And we're not gonna be too precious about it. And so I'm gonna hold the pencil or pen or Sharpie or whatever you're using like really loosely, because I'm just gonna get kind of like a loose shape in here. So I'm just gonna kind of do this little number, and so that's gonna be one little face, and then he's gonna have kind of the top of his head, and then he has a little funny kind of beak situation. Maybe curve it. Yeah, I think that seems legit. And then we're gonna come down and kind of follow that line around. And so that's gonna be one little guy. And then let's have a friend for him that's a little taller. And so he's gonna have this kind of beak situation happening. And then maybe they're talking to a little, like a little short guy, because that's what room I have here. And so we're gonna do our S, kind of like that. And then let's do his beak, kind of like looking up, because he's like looking up to his friends, and then these guys are looking down. Actually, I think his eyeball would go here, not here. That can be his breathe hole. And then that's gonna be him. So we're gonna have We have 3 flamingos. You can do as many as you want, depends on the size of your canvas, but we've got 3 guys down. Okay, so I'm gonna move. We want some orange, maybe some yellow. We're gonna have our beak colors, and then maybe some white. We may need to add white to make it cover up the stuff. So let me clean off my brush. Add a little white to that. And then I'm just gonna fill in his beak. Most of the lines will get covered up in this way, but if you can still see parts of the lines, it's not the end of the world. I feel like this guy is very snotty looking. It's like looking down his nose. He may need to put like some glasses or something. And their beaks don't have to be the exact same colors. They're all different. In fact, you could kind of just doot. Okay. So what we're doing is we're gonna paint around the birds and then keep the birds this interior color. So I'm gonna grab a little white on my brush and then what is there. And then I'm just gonna kind of go around here. And you can reshape him if you need to. And I'm just covering up the lines as I go, but I am gonna outline him in a little bit, so it's not that big of a deal if you can see some of them, because we are gonna do an outline. A loose outline, a carrot outline. And like his head got a little too skinny. So, I mean, I may add in a little bit more of the pink colors into that. And you could have maybe some yellow. Just kind of add in there. Kind of break that up a little bit. But really just have fun with it. Because there's no wrong answer. You're just trying to get, I like it to be not quite so solid so that it looks like things are moving around out there. If it's too solid in the background, it looks a little like stale and stagnant. I don't want to do that. And then you can continue your wrap around if you want, or you can leave the sides pink, however you want to look at that. You kind of leave a little bit of the pink kind of exposed if you want, or just play with it. But the whole purpose of this exercise is to get you just to kind of think outside of the box a little bit. And we're kind of reversing things by painting it first and then adding to it. Okay. Now let's say maybe I want to let a little white. Basically, we're just using colors straight from the container. Don't even need a palette. So, we probably need to let that dry. I'm gonna try to reshape his head a little bit. Just so it's a little less snake-like. And a little bit more bird-like. Probably have to do a couple coats on that. And you could also wait till the other stuff dries, because that would probably be smarter, but yeah. And then you can kind of go in here and just add to this. So if you wanted to add a little bit of the orange, or you could mix that with some white, kind of make more of like a salmon-y color. Just kind of play. And like, just so that's not all super consistent either. I guess that's the main point of this, is we want some of that texture to show through, but not the whole thing. We don't want the whole thing to just like lay there flat without kind of any fun happening. I feel like I need still some darker. Let's see here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of, this is it's called rose gouache. You wouldn't have to have that. You just need something that's a little bit more opaque and a little bit deeper. Just to kind of add a little bit of a something to give him a little bit more shape. And so I'm gonna add a little bit down the front of them. It's not moving around very well, so I'm gonna wet that brush down and get it to move a little bit. So mainly just in the front, kind of like up in those cheeks and then down the front of his body. And then this one, it's gonna be on this side because that's his front. Okay. Maybe a little white here and there. Really, you can just keep playing with it. You could probably overplay with it, so when you get to a point where like, I kind of like him, even if he's still a little awkward because he needs a little bit more something, it might be time to stop. And I'm gonna do a little bit of that pinky rosy color in his beak. I don't know why things aren't wanting to work for me today. So a little bit of that, and then maybe a little bit of yellow. Okay. And don't want to do anything else. Kind of want to make him feathery. Let's see. Let's get a little bit more white in here. Gonna take our pink and make a really light pink, and then we'll just kind of make a few little feathers. And don't just outline it with the pink. If you're gonna do those little feathers, you gotta put a few in the body too, so that he doesn't look like super outlined. Okay. because I'm gonna use black. I'm gonna let this dry too, and then we will move on. All right, now you could use a liner brush and black paint, or you can find one of these Posca markers. They're great. Either way, totally fine. What we're gonna do, maybe I'll do a combination, is I kind of want to outline, then I want to make this like eye area. Make this kind of thick. And it's gonna be his eye. And then a little breathe hole. Same thing here. We're gonna kind of make this line. And then a little breathe hole for him. And then we're gonna do maybe we'll do, probably should do that with paint, but we're gonna make the tip of their beak dark. You could do that with black paint or use a marker, whichever. I already cleaned my brushes, so that's why I'm being lazy. These Posca markers aren't like super cheap, so you'd probably be a little bit better off using paint, but I also don't use paint markers that much, so oftentimes they just dry up anyway. Okay, so that's gonna be his like beak area. And then down his back, I don't want it to be like a straight line, so I'm just gonna make kind of jaggedy lines and loose outlines. And then we need white so that we can have a little shine in his eye. Oh, this guy can't breathe. And that's it. Cute little flamingo, guys. All right. Thanks for joining me. I feel like this light is making it too bright.